Shalom, y'all. Bashim al Shabakatah. Y'all Shamar al Thumb Bashim al Shah. This precinct officer 500 Mathumia out of I.S.U.P.K. Star out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command during YAHANNA. We teach the truth about the Bible. And the truth about the Bible is that the blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are God's chosen people. You understand? And the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. All right. And this is the same man. And before I do that, and we've been doing this since 1969. We're going to keep pushing it forward, you know what I mean, till the mission is done. And speaking of the devil, the Bible, the devil of the Bible, you know, man, this is the same person, the same man that would, trick the people, trick the whole like a nation of people into, celebrating a day that was made off of slaughter. You understand? And we just got finished as a nation, black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, we got finished celebrating Thanksgiving. You understand? I saw y'all out there. I saw everybody. I saw y'all with y'all dry turkey. I saw y'all with the ham and all that garbage. And you fake Israelites out there that celebrate that garbage too. Don't think we ain't see y'all either. You understand? A bunch of hypocrites. You know what I mean? Because you wanna be the first to say something about the black plight. You want to be the first to say something about, what we go through as a people, as black people, Latinos, you understand? But then don't want to take the right step forward into, doing away with Thanksgiving. Something simple as not eating turkey on that day. Something as simple as not, putting away all that Thanksgiving food for that day. You could treat that like a regular day, like the Most High said he treats that day. You know what I mean? How he made that day to be. It's a regular day. The Most High ain't never told us to celebrate Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's a vain holiday. It's a holiday made. You know what I mean? It's an abominable holiday. It's an abominable day made from the slave master. The slave master, you know what I mean? This is his day. This is his day that he triumphed over the Native Americans. This is his day that he triumphed over his enemies. You understand? Which is us, Israel. All right. The Native Americans are the Israelites. They God's chosen people. And we decided to spit on them by, cooking turkey, and all that nonsense we was, the rest, you don't know the nonsense y'all cook up on that day. You understand? And indulging in the feast made off of blood, made off of murder. You understand? This is the time that we have to be in right now. I'm gonna get Romans. Since we're talking about the times, I'm gonna get Romans chapter 13, verse. Romans chapter 13, verse 11. Bear with me a second. I'm gonna grab it. All right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 11, chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Now that we know the time we're in right now, black man, Native American man, Latino man, now we know the times we're in. The times we're in now, I mean, just look on the news. Look on the news and see what's going on. ICE is, breaking into school, going on school property and snatching people, kids out and babies out of their parents' hands. You understand? That's what ICE is doing right now. They're going in people's restaurants and arresting the workers. They're going on the companies. They're going on different factories, property and everything like that. And they taking the workers out of there, you know what I mean? And they doing all heinous acts against the Latino people right now. You understand? I seen a sister in the comment section yesterday on Black Watch, where she said that other clients that come in for social services, I don't know what zone the sister was in, but she said like when Arabs come into the social services and all that, they are not as they don't come in there with a down spirit. They don't come in there, feeling down and crying and in tears and whatnot. But the Latino tribes are. You understand? They coming in there with full-blown tears falling down their face because they are in a time of distress. And that's what the Most High said, what happened in the last days, man, where we will be oppressed and we will be, it's a lot, and we'll be, treated terribly by this enemy that's over us right now. Which is more reason why we should go ahead and find another way of doing things. You understand? If we've been celebrating Thanksgiving this whole time and we've been in hell this whole time, maybe that's one thing we could change. You understand? We've been celebrating all these holidays, around this time of the year, this witchcraft season, this witchcraft spirit we in now. They call it the holiday spirit. Well, really, it's the witchcraft spirit of, that we in right now. Where everybody is, jolly over nothing because they jolly over what they about to get a new Christmas tree. They happy, whatever. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. It means nothing to the Lord. And that's probably why we get shot around this time of year. That's probably why the crime skyrockets around this time of the year. That's probably why we die so much around this time of year. You understand? It was oh man, we dying from many things. You understand? Car accidents and house fires and everything like that. We gotta understand, man. It was somebody in Orange, New Jersey, that just passed due to a house fire. Due to celebrating Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Him celebrating Thanksgiving. His daughters died. And he, he made it out. But he lost 2 daughters due to celebrating Thanksgiving, all up in Orange, New Jersey. You understand? These are the times we're in right now. Knowing what time we're in, it says now is the time. Let me read it again. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. What's the sleep we in? The sleep is, just look at what you do every day. Just look at your day-to-day routine. Your day-to-day routine consists of what? Consists of okay, you wake up, all right, you skip the toothbrush and toothpaste and all that. You don't go there. You go grab a blunt and you smoke a blunt, you roll up and smoke a blunt first. That's first thing you do. Wake up first and then do that. All right, you don't do nothing else. You understand? You don't hop in the water, you don't do nothing. You just do that first. You understand? Don't even think about eating a meal because you're killing and destroying your spirit. You're destroying your soul with getting high. You understand? You're destroying yourself. And this that's how destroyed we are. We don't know we destroyed. We don't know that we in a down in a gutter state right now. We don't know that. We think we good. We think we we think we cool because we free to go in all these stores and all these paraphernalia stores that's around here in Trenton, New Jersey. It's so much around here, man. Goddamn, and Philly too. It's everywhere. You can't get on the L. You can't get on the L. I can't go on the L train in Philly without without somebody hotboxing the whole damn train up. You understand? That's what they do because that's what we do because we just think we free. We think we free to do what we want, and plus we destroy it. So what else should I do? What else should I do? You know what I mean? Because your spirit got weak in this place. But I'm gonna tell you what, you ain't gonna get stronger smoking weed. You ain't gonna get stronger smoking cigarettes. You ain't gonna get stronger smoking blacks and all that. You understand? You ain't gonna get stronger doing that. You ain't gonna teach your kids to be strong by doing that either. You're not gonna teach your children, you're not gonna teach your son to be a man if he sees his dad smoking weed all the time or putting something in his mouth every day. He can't go a day without putting something in his mouth and sucking on that blunt. You understand? He can't grow up to be a real the man he supposed to be with seeing you do that. He can't grow up to be the man he deserves to be, that he should be, that the Most High calls him to be, if he sees you constantly getting high. You're teaching him to be the same way. You know what I mean? You want to smoke weed, you want to do this, you want to do that. You telling your son, hey, smoke weed when you get older. You know what I mean? You smoke cigarettes, you telling your son, smoke cigarettes when you get older without saying it. You understand? That's why we tell you in the UPK to just do away with it all together. Do away with it all together, man. You understand? It'll be better for you, your woman, you understand, your children, and all that. You understand? Or if, you know what I mean, and hey, sometimes they might disagree, but as long as you get it right, the Lord gonna make it work one way or the other. You understand? So that's what we have to do. It says right now, what it say? That's why I was going off of the sleep we in. What's the sleep? Us getting high. You understand? Us getting high off of Christianity. You know what I mean? Off of Christianity, thinking, you know what I mean? That's part of the reason too why we get high. Because we just free to do what we want. We are basically can do whatever, man, because the Lord forgives us for what we do. He forgives us for our sins. So we can constantly get high and we don't have to worry about any consequences. We won't have to worry about any judgment coming our way. You understand? When the Lord, you know what I mean, tells us to do, you know what I mean, to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, even Christ said, man, all the law hangs on these. You understand? To love the Lord with all thy might, with all thy soul, and all thy, you know what I mean, all thy strength, and to love thy brother as thyself. You understand? I'm paraphrasing. You understand? That's what Christ said to do. And what's the law? What's the law? What's the Salaki? What's the what's loving the Most High with all thy might and all thy strength? What's that? What does that consist of? That means what? You got to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. That's what you have to do. That's how you love the Most High. And I'm not just talking. This is not just me saying some doctrine or like spin our doctrine. This is not that. You understand? It's in the Bible, and I can prove it right now. And we're gonna come back to Romans 13:11. But I'm gonna just grab this precept for y'all real quick. We're gonna go to First John chapter 2, verse 3. And then we're gonna get some more precepts on that. All right, First John chapter 2, verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. How do you know the Most High? You got to keep his commandments. Christians say that all day, don't they? They say, man, I know the Lord, and the Lord knows my heart, and this, and jabbity. You understand? Well, when the Bible says, and hereby we do know that we know him. You know him. If you know the Most High, then you will do this. If we keep his commandments, you will keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. What's the law, statutes, and commandments? The laws that Moses gave to us. Simple as that. You know what I mean? The laws, everybody know the laws that Moses gave to us. It wasn't just 10. It wasn't just 10 of them. You understand? We got a whole bunch of things we got to follow in the Bible. You understand? But we can't keep what he said. And guess what? The scriptures say the law is not grievous. It's not grievous, meaning it's not difficult to do. You know what I mean? If you go ahead and break the law, you wanted to do it, and you just a lustful, you know what I mean? You know what? A lustful bastard. You understand? You know what I mean? That's what it is. So that's how you love. That's how you know the Lord. That's how you love the Lord. We're gonna get another one that says it flat out too. Bear with me a second though. First John. All right, that ain't it. All right, First John chapter 5, verse 3. This is the more efficient one to pull, right? So First John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. And his commandments are not grievous, meaning they're not hard to keep. And let's not skip over the fact that it says, for this is the love of God. So how do you love God? This is the love of God right here. We about to read again. It says that we keep his commandments. and his commandments are not grievous. His commandments is how you, keeping his commandments is how you love how you love God. That's how you love God. You don't love God, talking all day long, loving God with your mouth and all that, saying like with your words and all that. You gotta love the Most High with your actions. What you do, what you do every day. That's how you love the Lord. You understand? What you do, meaning this. I just broke it down, but how you don't love the Lord, how you know you don't love the Lord is you going to your family's crib and you having a feast based off of slaughter, off of genocide. That's not loving the Lord. But I bet you the whole congregation of your church that you go to, did that. I bet y'all had some turkey. I bet y'all had turkey and gravy and all that. You know what I mean? Had to go double time on the gravy because that turkey dry as hell. You understand? This is what the church do, and that's why we, hypocrites when we say Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. But damn, you don't understand that for the Native Americans who suffer the same thing we do. It shouldn't be Thanksgiving because damn, we say we want to live, we don't catch a break or none of that. You understand? But we celebrating another man's death, another man's bondage on Thanksgiving. That's hypocritical as hell, man. You know what I mean? And we're going to read this again one more time. Then I'm going to go back to Romans 13:11. It says, "For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments." So you know how you love him. Do what the Lord say. Stop eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. Stop celebrating Thanksgiving. Stop celebrating the white man's holidays. When you celebrate the white man's holidays, you're spitting on the Lord, man. You're spitting in the face of the Lord, basically. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. You spitting on the truth, man. You know what I mean? Because the Lord does not want you, celebrating all these strange days that he didn't ordain. You know what I mean? When you do that, bro, you might see some judgment. And this is why, again, like I said earlier, that's why we die. That's why we die. So we just lost some brothers, I believe, 2 months ago with that Halloween fiasco, you know what I mean? That happened over there. You know what I mean? We lost some brothers over there and some brothers got hurt. You understand? And if we just all said the hell with Halloween, we would have still have them brothers we would have still have them brothers here with us today if we wouldn't have went into them holidays like that. You know what I mean? If all Trenton, New Jersey said, man, listen, if all the black men and Latino men in Trenton, New Jersey been like, man, but forget what the white man says. They calling ICE down here. They calling ICE down here in Trenton and all that. They trying to round us up and all that. How about we boycott the white man's holidays? You understand? They they how they treat black and Latinos, man. You know what I mean? And we still suffering the same condition that we've been in here since our parents and our great grandparents and all that. And we didn't boycott none of their holidays. We didn't say no, the hell with Thanksgiving, the hell with Halloween. We're gonna just have our own little functions and our own little parties, own little get-togethers, just because we want to do it on another different day. And it doesn't have to be celebrating the white man's day, the white man's victory, the white man's win, the white man's triumph. It don't have to be that. It could just be our own regular day. You know what I mean? I forget. I miss the days when family just got together on like some regular stuff. You know what I mean? We don't do that no more. And I wonder why. We can't come together on regular days because why? You know what I mean? First off, the family damn near hate each other guts. Every time somebody want to go to a Thanksgiving function and all that, everybody knows that it's notorious for a black family that, getting the scuffles, getting the disagreements, arguments, fights, you know what I mean? Damn near every single time, and it never fails. You understand? Because we really hate one another, but we coming together, in the name of Thanksgiving. We coming together in the name of what's the word? We coming together in the name of witchcraft. You know what I mean? That's what we coming together for. Coming together in the name of Satan. Because the Lord definitely didn't give us those days. Y'all going to shout out to Cat Model Car, you know me, Cat Model Car out of Chirac. You understand? He said one time about Thanksgiving in the video where parents is like, people, whoever going to the party or whatever, the dinner or whatever, the feast, they on their way to the dinner, to the feast, and to the get together, ready to scrap. They getting themselves ready. They in there. All right, let's get. Y'all getting there. Y'all going on y'all way to the party, ready to to fight or whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's not about what y'all say it's about. Saying it's about Thanksgiving, what you're thankful for. It ain't about that. That ain't what it is. That might what y'all, y'all want to think is that. But really, spiritually, because y'all can't see spiritually, spiritually is y'all, is demons conjuring y'all up, getting y'all all together. And that's why hell breaks loose. That's why people get hurt. That's why we end up losing people. This is why these things happen. I'm going to go read some more. Verse 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Yeah, that was pretty much it on that. You understand? And, this is what we have to remember. We have to remember. Let me see something. Yeah. Let me go up to verse 2. It says, by this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. It's saying the same thing right here too. You understand? You won't love your brother. The only way you love your brother is if you love God. And the way you love God, you love your brother. You know what I mean? This is how we gotta look at things. We lack brotherhood, man. We don't have any brotherhood. You know what I mean? This is brotherhood right now telling you to stop celebrating Thanksgiving, to stop celebrating these holidays. Christmas coming up. You know what I mean? It ain't been 15 seconds since Thanksgiving passed, and they already promoting Christmas and all that garbage, right? People already got their Christmas trees set up and everything. They buying Christmas trees even before Thanksgiving. People buying real actual trees, for their homes and all that garbage. Now watch how many houses burn down. Watch how many houses burn down, you know what I mean? And if it does burn down, you kind of earned it. You understand? You kind of earned it because, you know what I mean? That's another pagan holiday. That's another pagan holiday. Whatever the white man, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. It's like, Salaki, bear with me a second. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Whatever the white man tells us to celebrate, whatever the white man tells us to celebrate, we gotta look at it with a side eye. You gotta, look at it sideways, like, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? You gotta take a look at it at least. Don't be lazy. You understand? Don't just celebrate it because, what I mean? That's what a good slave do. A good slave will be like, oh, you giving us, okay, this is the day, and we get off on this day, and so on this day, we supposed to do this. You know what I mean? That's what slaves do. Just because the white man gave you off on that day does not mean, you know what I mean, gives you a license to go ahead and sin against the Lord. Let me see this. Let me see this, John. Man, listen. Oh, yeah. Okay. Come. You know what I mean? And that's another thing, too, you know what I mean? It ain't just Christian church, but you got different groups and sets of Christian churches out there, man. You know what I mean? Like you fake Israelite groups. Fake Israelite groups, you know what I mean, all the time. I seen a fake Israelite group. I seen a fake Israelite group, you understand, celebrating Thanksgiving. I seen that with my own two eyes. They had the nerve to go on live. They had the nerve to go live with it, and you know what I mean, they called it. I forget what they called it. Man. But they had the camera on the turkey, and they had swine in there too. You know what I mean? They had ham and all that. They had your typical Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I mean? And they had it. They recorded it all basically, and was like, "Yo, we gonna call this something day." They called it. I think they called it Yahweh Day or something like that. Some garbage like that. You know what I mean? This is what we don't do. Like the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge, man, under Commander General YAHANNA, you know what I mean, since 1969, we never capitulated to any evil. We never capitulated to any, you know what I mean, weakness, any spiritual attack, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, coming from anybody, man. But you fake Israelites, y'all do anything. Y'all do anything. We already know about them Sakari dudes, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what they do. You know what I mean? They down with all types of, you know what I mean, proclivities, you understand? But I.S.U.P.K, we held this troop down, in particularly Commander General YAHANNA, you know what I mean, held this troop down when everybody left. Everybody left. Everybody chose to leave and do their own thing. Everybody else got weak, you know what I mean, and left. You know what I mean? Tucked their tail and left. You understand? Except for Commander General YAHANNA. He held, you know what I mean, held his sword and, you know what I mean, kept it going. He kept warring, you know what I mean, alongside with the help of General Mahyman and General Mayak and General Hazayan. You understand? With the, you know what I mean, that's what happened. You know what I mean? That's what happened. We kept this truth strong when fake Israelites came up and started homosexual organizations. You know what I mean? When the scriptures say homosexuality is an abomination. You understand? Like them purple dudes and purple cats. You know what I mean? Which is a homosexual organization. You know what I mean? Where and they want to portray themselves as being the truth. You know what I mean? When we have to understand the UPK is the originals and everybody else are just doing their best trying to copy and trying to hide. They hide you know what I mean, from being high, you know what I mean, being camouflaged from being hypocrites. They don't want the world, you know what I mean, to see them as being hypocrites when it's plain as sight. It's plain as day for us in the UPK. All right, you know what I mean? But neither here nor there. We're gonna go to Romans 13 and 11. Go to Romans 13 and 11. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go there right quick. And that knowing the time, I'm gonna lead back to where we got back to where we left off. It says, and that knowing the time, knowing that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Our salvation is near. It's right around the corner, brother. Right around the corner. And would you want to get caught like when Christ come back? Are you gonna be caught having Christmas dinner? You gonna be Christ gonna come back and crack the sky open, and he gonna get, you know what I mean, damn, he war ready, and you gonna be at your dinner table with your family eating Christmas dinner, and you think Christ gonna save you? You think Christ gonna love you for that, and Christ gonna hand you a flower for that, or whatever you think in your head? Christ is not that type of dude. You know what I mean? The Most High hates Christmas. The Most High hates your holidays. He hates the white man who you love so much. You know what I mean? Who you love so much that you know what I mean? Just do whatever he say because he's in power. You know what I mean? You would never want to go as a mass as Black Latinos. We would never want to go into some East Indian holidays and customs that they got set up. Why? Because we just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? They stink enough as it is and all that already. You know what I mean? But we want to go specifically and bow down to the white man because he's in power. He's in power. You know what I mean? He's in power, and we don't want to. We don't want to. What I mean. Stand strong on what we supposed to stand strong on. Let me see if I can grab this precept for y'all real quick. Grab this precept. You know what I mean? It says, "In that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep." You know what I mean? This is the time right now, brother. I know you see everything. Damn, my phone. I know you see everything going on in overseas, or going on overseas, man. All the wars jumping off. They trying to have peace treaties between Russia and Ukraine right now. They having talks now, but it's not gonna go nowhere. It's the war gonna continue happening. They done had how many peace treaties they had already? You know what I mean? They had so many peace treaties, and during the peace treaty, they bombed the hell out Ukraine. You know what I mean? They don't give a damn about no peace treaties. All that garbage, all that talk they have over there, talking about they gonna have peace treaties and peace talks and this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And Ukraine recently they agreed with the deal that the U.S. proposed to them. They proposed a deal to Ukraine on how, you know what I mean, if you follow these guidelines we have here, you know what I mean, you're gonna have to do this, that, according to how we like it, and we can make sure we could put things in place for the war to stop between you and Russia. And they agreed to it, but now we gotta, I mean, that don't mean Russia is gonna stop just because they agreed to whatever. You know what I mean? Russia is being turned back, is being pulled back. You know what I mean? The Lord pulling Russia back into this war, and it's gonna go crazy. It's gonna go crazy. You know what I mean? And you do not want to be. Damn, man, my phone acting crazy. You don't want to be. You don't want to be. All right, there we go. Yeah, so you don't want to be basically when Christ come back eating Christmas dinner. Eating Christmas dinner, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be found, you know what I mean, eating ribs and all that garbage, having with your Christmas tree set up in your house, and all that garbage, and Christ cracked the sky open, and you know what I mean, you in there with the holiday spirit. You know what I mean, you're gonna get your head. It's not gonna be nice. It's not gonna be nice. You understand? Christ ain't coming back for hugs and kisses. You know what I mean? Sooner we understand that, we'll probably be better off. You know what I mean? Christ ain't coming back for no hugs and kisses. He ain't coming back to hand out candy. He ain't coming back to hand out no flowers. He ain't doing none of that, man. The scriptures say when he come back, his vesture gonna be dipped in blood. You know, y'all know what that means, right? Meaning when he come back, the judgment he's gonna lay out, man, it's gonna be so crazy that his garment is gonna be dipped in blood. You know what I mean? It's gonna be looking like it was dipped in blood. That's how much. That's what Christ is gonna come back, and he gonna come on that type of vibe right there. You know what I mean? Let me see if I grab this real quick for y'all. You know what I mean? So that's that right there. I'm gonna grab 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Mm-hmm. All right, this is cool, but this ain't what I wanted. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like the scripture that we just pulled, you know what I mean? Let me see. All right. Let me see. All right, let me read book of Ephesians chapter. No, that ain't it. Mm-hmm. But this is good too. For right now, for time's sake, I'm just say, you know what I mean? We have to. So what the Lord gave us, right? What the Lord gave us in the UPK, He gave us His truth. He gave us our identity. He gave us, you know what I mean, our language. He gave us our whole culture back. He revealed to us who we are. You know what I mean? He revealed who the 12 tribes of Israel are. You know what I mean? The blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, 12 different tribes, man. He revealed all these things to us, and he revealed how we serve God for real. Not like what you learn in the church. What you're gonna learn in church is how to be a hypocrite, is how to be like the white man. You know what I mean? You're gonna learn to love the white, you're gonna learn to love your slave master. And why? I mean, 1 + 1 is 2. You understand? Because you go up in there, you serving a white God, right or wrong. A Christian cannot tell me that I'm wrong on that. You in there, you gonna serve a white God, you gonna pray thinking that God is white, imagining a white man as God, imagining Christ as a white man, you know what I mean, as that little pool boy, you know what I mean, that little punk. You know what I mean? When really that image that y'all looking at is the image of Caesar Borgia. You know what I mean? The second son of Pope Alexander the Sixth of Rome. You understand? And they whole family was notorious for being child abusers and rapists and all that. You know what I mean? That's what they was notorious for. They was a crime family. And Leonardo da Vinci painted Caesar Borgia, and that's your new image of Christ. You know what I mean? After during the Renaissance era. You know what I mean? And now y'all got this white image of Christ. But before then, it wasn't so. You know what I mean? Everybody knew it was common knowledge Christ was black. All right. But this is what you're not gonna learn in the church. You're not gonna learn who you are according to the Bible. You ain't gonna learn all these things. We learn all this here in the UPK. This is what we learn. You understand? We learn to have brotherhood in here. We learned, you know what I mean, if we have a disagreement or art with a brother, we go to him and him alone. You know what I mean? And we talk and we tell him like, yo, man, I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling this, that, another one. This and such happened, this, that. If the brother, you know what I mean, disagrees with you, you know what I mean, y'all take it to counsel and y'all find out who's wrong and who's right. You understand? But if he agrees with he hears you on it and he says, man, you know what, brother, I apologize. You understand? Then you hear your brother and you gain your brother after that. You know what I mean? This is what we keep. This is what we have set in place in I.S.U.P.K. What we have set in here is a brotherhood that nobody can understand unless you come through these doors. You understand? But we stand strong on this. You know what I mean? We're gonna stand strong on this until Christ comes. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep doing what we're doing, you know what I mean, hitting these corners, hitting these corners in America, telling our oppressors what they doing to us is wrong. You understand? Stop killing our people, stop unaliving our people, stop you know what I mean, treating our people so terribly with what ICE doing with what they doing now. They going viral damn near every week. You know, I'm seeing the video of ICE doing something terrible to us, you know what I mean? This is what we do, you know what I mean? But if you fall weak or you know what I mean, some people this ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? Some people like being lied to. Some people like being lied to. Some people like the lie more than the truth. And that's a lot of people. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of people. That's why the church got millions of people in there. That's why the church got millions and millions of people in there. You know what I mean? And all of them wicked as hell. All of them stuff they mouth with ham hocks and all that garbage. You understand? All of them, you know what I mean, are just, you know what I mean, a bunch of, slaves at heart. You know what I mean? That's not what a prophet don't capitulate to some person who's in power, you know what I mean, to some oppressor that's in power. You know what I mean? We fight back against the system spiritually. You know what I mean? That's how we doing it today. That's why them nuts in the Black Panther Party, they tried. They tried it, you know what I mean? But that's not how you gonna win. That's not how they misunderstand how you get out of this captivity. That's not how the Lord said we're gonna get out of this captivity. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, with picking up guns and all this, you know what I mean, with physical, force and all that carnality and everything like that. That's not what's going to get us out of this oppression. You know what I mean? That's not what's going to get us out. Let me see. Let me get some more. Boom, boom, boom. I'm pulling a preset for y'all based on what I just said. Let me see. Bear with me. Bear with me. You know what I mean? That is not what that is not what the Lord, you know what I mean, called for us to do. He ain't called for us to pick up guns and rifles and march down to the White House and tell them, you know what I mean? Nah, he ain't called us to do that. You know what I mean? He ain't called us to, you know what I mean, pick up arms and all this garbage. He ain't do that. So the Black Panther Party failed. You understand? They slept with white women. The Black Panther Party failed. You understand? They was eating ham sandwiches and all that garbage. The Black Panther Party failed. You know what I mean? I.S.U.P.K, we don't do any of that. But we do know how to win this spiritual battle. We do know how to get up out this captivity. And it's not, like I said before, picking up, getting a whole bunch of ARs and all this stuff and going down and, you know what I mean, trying to show physical force and all that stuff. That's not how you win. That's not how you win. Let me read 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You know what I mean? Meaning this, picking up the guns and this, that, and thinking you're going to do something with it. You know what I mean? The white man got missiles and tanks and this, that. He got an army. He got a navy. He got all these different things, man. You try to do, he got weapons that can kill you in your sleep and don't have to, you know, do anything don't have to make a big old commotion about it either and be like silent. You understand? We can't do this like carnally, you know what I mean? Let me go up one verse and probably explain a little more. Verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. You understand? Yeah. So with us doing this work, you understand, waking our brothers up. You understand, through the like I was bringing out a couple classes ago, through the foolishness of preaching, foolishness of teaching. You understand? Paraphrasing. That's how we win this battle. Waking brothers up. Christ said, man, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And they ain't talking about some white man that y'all think is a good guy. They ain't talking about no white man that you think is your friend and he's nice and he's different from. Christ wasn't talking about him. Christ was talking to that black man. He was talking to your neighbor. Your neighbor is who? Your blacks and Latinos and Native Americans. That's who he was talking to. You understand? The kingdom of heaven is within you. Meaning this, once you stop smoking weed, once you stop smoking cigarettes and blacks and, you know what I mean, getting hooked off any drug that's out there, they putting fentanyl in the weed now. I don't know how y'all's, you know what I mean, still down with that, but it's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? Once we stop doing all these things, once we stop with indulging in the precious holidays, once we stop celebrating his days that he gave to us, man, and we took in like good slaves, we'll get the kingdom of heaven. We'll get more power. The Lord will give us more power and get us out of this captivity. The only reason why we got here is because of our disobedience. The only reason why we got here is because we chose to serve other gods. We chose to serve other gods, and that's what we do today, ain't it? And then we pile ourselves all by the millions in the Muslim mosque, don't we pile up in the Christian church by the millions, don't we? Even after the power bottom TD Jakes thing came out. You know what I mean? With the power bottom Jakes, TD power bottom Jakes. After that came out, brothers still go to church. Brothers still go to their church. Brothers still proudly walk in there, and ancestors proudly go in there and see nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? After seeing all the nonsense Kirk Franklin do in his interviews, he talking about he don't want people sitting on furniture or on his piano. He don't want people touching anything because he's such a disgusting bastard. You don't know what he been doing on whatever's around. You can't sit on the sofa. You can't sit on his piano desk, on his piano table, on his piano chair. You understand? And that's what he said out of his own mouth. You understand? Because they are a bunch of lustful, disgusting bastards that are not men of the Lord, but they are of Satan. They are of their father, the devil. You know what I mean? Hence why that's why we die. That's why we die. You understand? Picking up the white man's ways, we die for it. You know what I mean? That's why the scriptures also say to come out of her, my people. You know what I mean? That you receive not of her plagues. Paraphrasing. You know what I mean? Because you want to pick up America's ways, you're gonna die with America. According to the scriptures. According to the scriptures, and not my thumbnail words, you know what I mean? It's in the Bible. Book of Revelations. The book that Christians scared to go to all the damn time. They don't want to bring nothing out of Revelation. You know what I mean? They don't know what the hell Revelation even talking about for real. They think it's some Greek mythology thing they seen in movies or whatever. It's not that. You know what I mean? It's global thermonuclear war. You know what I mean? And for brothers to keep to stay locked in with these holidays and all that, you know what I mean, you want to keep doing it until Christ come back, you know what I mean, or until the Lord just give you your judgment before Christ come back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You might go with America. America gonna go. America is destined to go. You know what I mean? And a lot of brothers might go with it, but you don't gotta go because you got chance right now. You got a chance right now. You got grace. You got grace right now. Let me get a precept for you. Romans go to Romans chapter 6. Because you got grace right now. And look at the Christians. The Christians in the back like, oh yeah, grace, yeah. That's right, we got grace. Now let me show you what it's talking about. Let me show you what it's talking about. Romans chapter 6. I'm gonna go to verse 15. I'm just jump straight to 15. Nah, let me do this. Let me go to I'm gonna read both of them. I'm gonna read verse 1. So Romans chapter 6, verse 1, and I'm gonna go to verse 15 after. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Should we continue in sin because we got grace? Should we keep sinning? That's what the Bible's asking, right? Let me go to verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under Christ, but under grace? Should we continue in this sin? Should we continue smoking weed because it make me feel right? You know what I mean? Make me I gotta smoke weed before I go to sleep. I gotta smoke my weed before I eat. I gotta smoke weed before I do anything, right? Before you brush your teeth, Slocky. This is all you say. You got, you know what I mean? This is what I be hearing, right? The Lord says, if we read on, it says, God forbid. God forbids us from sinning just because we got grace. The Lord prefers us that we keep the law, that we under. That's why he sent Christ to come down here and live the life, you know what I mean, and die for us, man. Because Christ came down here, he lived the perfect life. He didn't commit no sin. He was perfect. He's perfect. You know what I mean? To this day, he's perfect. You know what I mean? And the Most High sent him down here to show us, man, and to show us we can do the same thing. We could do the same thing he did. You know what I mean? And it ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't rocket science or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Christ was perfect. You know what I mean? We could be the same way. You know what I mean? Christ also said, like, the scriptures also say that it behooved Christ that he was made after his brother, meaning in flesh. You know what I mean? In flesh that the same flesh that we have today, where we get tempted to do sin. We get tempted like we a man and all that. We a man, we men, and we get tempted to do different things. You know what I mean? It could be anything, right? To eat something you ain't supposed to eat, have sex with a woman you ain't supposed to have sex with, or you know what I'm saying, or be anything. All right. So he came down here in the same flesh we got, and he lived a perfect life. Meaning we can do the same thing. What was I getting? Let me see. Yeah. So it says, yeah. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid. The Lord forbids it. So that means we have to do away with all these wicked holidays. Do away with Christmas, birthdays. Birthdays don't get, we gotta talk about that. They don't get talked about enough. Birthdays, wicked as hell too. You know what I mean? That's a day. Okay, it was like General Mahaiman brought out in a class, I think last week. The day you were born was a special day. You was born on that day, and that's a special day because you was, you know what I mean, you was brought into the earth. It's special to your parents because, you know what I mean, oh man, that was the day my baby. But the year after that, that same day is not a special day. It's a regular day. The same day, the 2 years after that is not special. It's just a regular day. You know what I mean? The day you take it upon yourself to get a cake and celebrate birthdays and all that. You know what I mean? You worshiping yourself as a god. You're making yourself a deity before all the people that comes to your birthday party. Everybody got to come to the birthday party to recognize you, to bring gifts to you. You know, that's what they did in Israel. That's what we did in the past. We brought gifts to golden idols. We bought gifts and everything, and we took our earrings off and our nose rings and bracelets, chains, and all that. We took all our jewelry off, and we presented it to, you know what I mean, a golden calf. Not just that, to idols, all many different idols we served in the past. That's what we did, and we got punished for that. Best believe that. The Lord dealt with us for that. You know what I mean? And the Lord will deal with us today celebrating our birthdays. We can't celebrate birthdays. They ain't of the Lord. And I know that's hard to hear. And I understand it's hard to hear, but for me, when I first heard it, it wasn't as hard for me. It wasn't as difficult for me because I wasn't that type of dude anyway to be like, we gotta go out, we gotta do this, we gotta what we gonna do. I wasn't that type of dude anyway. But I can understand it might be difficult for brothers out there, especially sisters out there, because I know that's a thing that, you know, sisters love doing that, going out on birthdays and this and that. But if you're sincere about loving God, like you say out your mouth, you know what I mean, you will understand, all right, birthdays is evil to the Lord, to the Most High. I say I love God. Well, if I love God, then I must stop celebrating my birthday. And she would stop. You know what I mean? It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt for a while, but then you're gonna be like, man, I'm really not missing anything. You're not missing anything. You can go ahead and get lit on another day. You know what I mean? You want to go out, have drinks and all that with your girlfriends or whatever like that. You know what I mean? With your group of friends or whatever. You know what I mean? Or brothers. You know what I mean? Y'all want to? You know, we do that all the time in the UPK. We go out. We you know what I mean? We go to clubs and we do our thing here in the UPK. We go out, but we don't make it. We don't do it for the name of. We don't do it in the name of someone's birthday though. You know what I mean? We just do it like it's a regular thing for us. You know what I mean? Same with our sisters that's in here. You know what I mean? They do it the same way. It's like a regular day. You know what I mean? But that's how you could deal with that. You know what I mean? Just that one day out of the year don't gotta make it special. You know what I mean? It's a regular day to the Lord. You know what I mean? But we running out of time though. Running out of time. It was the Wild Class. I do want to wrap it up right here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for you know what I mean, staying locked in and everything like that. Salakia. Let me salute y'all out real quick. I'm receiving a phone call. Shalom, y'all about Shemi al-Shabakatah. Y'all Shamar Atham about Shemi al-Shah. It's Priest Officer 500 Matham, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Shalom.